What's up, everybody? I got a special guest today. Tell them what's up.
How you doing?
Wait, put the Dodgers hat back on. We're gonna give away this Apple Watch. We're talking how Mr. Patrick Bet. Tell me the origin of the name.
Assyrian, Bet David.
Because I know that's not
House of David.
But Bet David, it's hyphenated and that means
House of David.
House of
It's
David.
Assyrian.
So it's Christian.
It is.
Yeah?
Yes.
So he's built a $100 million company, financial services. Stopped by, nice enough to stop by while he was in town. And we're gonna talk about how to grow, not just how to build and start a business, but growth. Some people build businesses and most people that build business, just so you know the statistic, I don't know if you've seen this, the IRS website, they call them solo entrepreneurs. Single earners that own their own business make about $45,000 a year. The bad news about that is the average non-entrepreneur, person who works at McDonald's, regular jobs, makes $52,000. So people take a lot of risk by starting their own company, and the average person doesn't make much. You got to have what's called a premium on your risk, a risk premium. You got to make more money. If you take the risk, like if you could make the same amount of money at McDonald's, you might as well work at McDonald's. They're not going out of business. So let's start. You got a cool story. You were born in Iran. You were in a refugee camp. You made it to the United States. So you're kind of doing the American dream.
It is I see you got a lot of Middle Easterns here as well, by the way.
Armin's Mexican and Persian. And yeah.
Did you say Armin's Mexican?
He's Mexican and Persian.
Are you really Mexican and Persian?
Yeah.
Really? What a
Yep.
combination.
I know. I've never met anyone.
That is fascinating
He's
to
the
me.
only person.
And then you had Alex over there. So yeah, I was born and raised in Iran. I lived there 10 years.
Yeah.
6 weeks after Khomeini died, when we were living and we were getting bombed, all this other mess. 6 weeks after Khomeini died, we escaped to Germany.
Okay.
Lived at a refugee camp in Germany for 2 years.
Do you remember that?
I do, vividly.
Was it traumatic? Was it what do you think?
So I was there when Germany won the World Cup.
So that was good news.
That was great news. I woke up the next day, went to school. Literally everybody was knocked out in the streets from celebrating because they won.
Yeah.
Okay, I went to school, realized school was shut down because they won the World Cup. But when I lived at the refugee camp, you got people from Yugoslavia, you got people from Albania. Everybody's escaping this whole communistic system that didn't work and it's flawed, or a dictatorship. And they're hoping to figure out a way to come to the States.
Yes.
So we lived there for about 18 months, 24 months, and then got the green card, came to the States
Came
here.
to America.
Came
You
to
lived
America.
in LA. And then you made a ton of money. Let's throw this one out. The first tip, let's do the best. Let's kind of do it in priority order. What's this saying? We recently secure account. What the heck? Upload a full. Is this still streaming on Facebook? It's wanting me to upload a photo of myself on Facebook. Wait, just wait. Just see if it still streams. I've never seen that. Facebook is always the most finicky thing. It wants to make sure it's really me while I'm doing a freaking live stream. Oh, okay, Facebook.
Still streaming.
Why don't you just look at the damn video? All right, me and Facebook have a love-hate relationship on these live streams. So, number one tip, you grew from 7 years from 0 to 100 million. If you had to say this, if you only got one technique for sales and growth of a business, what's that technique?
Technique or focus? How about I tell you
focus.
So
strategy, anything.
Yeah, I would tell you, I got very specific on my target audience, is what it was. So for instance, I started off with Morgan Stanley. You were a CFP before, so I started off Series 7, 66, 31, 26 life and health. You're going after accounts, $500,000 and up. You're dealing with, the affluent, and that was a market that Morgan, Merrill, Goldman Sachs was going after. And so I decided my market was going to be millennials and Gen X. And I'm looking for middle America. That became our specific focus. So I knew exactly what I was looking for as an agent, and I knew exactly what I was looking for as a customer. On the agent side, on the insurance side, you would know about this. The average insurance agent and advisor today in America is a 59-year-old white male.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a 30-year-old Middle Eastern male, which makes 0 sense at the time, right? And then you saw Barack Obama become a president.
Yes.
He becomes a president purely on social media, and he becomes a president purely based on being able to connect with minorities, Hispanic community. He was very focused on that. And that's what we did. Today we're 51% Hispanic. We are 54% women. which is absolutely an anomaly. Average agent is a 34-year-old Hispanic female.
I was gonna say, you got a lot of Spanish females.
We
in
do,
It was over
yes,
50,
we
and
do.
you're in Texas, so it's a little bit more. It's like
By the way,
California.
we just moved to Texas 18 months ago.
Okay.
So I was based out of Glendale. Headquarters was in Glendale. We moved to Dallas 18 months ago. And so now we went from being in Northridge, California originally with 60 plus agents to now 5,100 in 49 states, including Puerto Rico.
So if you're watching, the key takeaway, and I've seen this over and over, there's a great book on this by Gary Keller called The One Thing. Basically, as Confucius said, the man or the woman who chases two rabbits catches none. So if you're spread too thin, you think you're winning because you think you're diversified, but you're not really diversified. You're just really not good at anything. And I was talking about this yesterday with Russell Brunson. It's like you have to find your superpower. And so your one superpower was taking this industry where normally it was white, older male dominated. And you said, not everybody wants to deal with people like that. Let me find and build a $100 million company solely off of focus on what everybody else is missing.
No doubt. And so you know the Blue Ocean formula. I mean,
Yes.
you've read the new Blue Ocean shift, I think
Yep.
is the new one they're talking about, where it's more people driven. That formula of figuring out a way to differentiate yourself, it's actually effective in every single industry you look at. A lot of people ask me a question and they say, Pat, what industry should I get involved in? I'm sure you get that all
Yeah.
the time. Should I get involved in this? Should I get involved in that? Should I do this? There are many ways to make money if you figure out a way to tap into a market that no one's paying attention to.
Yeah.
And you know the 4 steps. Find a way to minimize.
Okay.
So for us, everybody was doing BD, broker dealer.
Yes.
And you're seeing the direction the financial industry is going with regulating everything. We stepped away from BD, even though I'm a 7.
So you do fixed, all
fixed,
fixed up.
purely
Yep.
fixed.
So get smaller, actually. It's like, in order to make more money, get smaller. Minimize what you're going after.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we went, minimized that. We eliminated BD. We still have a BD, but it's not something we promote
It's not
and
a
we
big
drop.
money
Not
thing,
at
yeah.
all. We created.
Broker dealer, it basically means managing money.
Yeah.
For
so,
those of you who don't know what a broker dealer is. Let me switch that. Go ahead.
So, and then outside of that, you know,
What were the other 4? You said
So you got
minimize.
minimize, you got to eliminate.
Yep.
You got to create.
Yep.
So we created a market that we're going after that they're not going after in the marketplace.
Yep.
And then you have create, minimize, increase.
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 You got to reset Twitter probably.
Yeah, no comments are coming.
Twitter sometimes. You got a crazy day with.
I love this tier. Like you got all this
You got
stuff
it all
you set
set
up,
up.
man. You got.
Stop increase.
Let me
Yeah,
show
just
you
stop.
what this looks like here.
So, if you notice in that formula in this strategies,
moly.
it's more about doing less stuff. Most people do too much stuff. Trust me. You know what I always say?
Tell me.
The whole goal should be work half as much with twice the results. It's even with working out. You see people in the gym on the treadmill nonstop. I had a neighbor, and welcome Twitter. Twitter was down. We got this Apple Watch and some cash I'm about to give away. But we're talking about growing, how Patrick grew his business 0 to 100 mil in 7 years. I had this neighbor, no joke. I have another house up in Hollywood Hills, and this guy, I would play basketball outside, he would come jogging by me. Every day since 2009 that I was there, he would come jogging around. The dude got fatter and fatter and fatter, and I was going, you got to jog. I never said anything, but I wanted to say, first of all, whatever you're doing, stop, because it's actually, unless your goal is to gain weight by jogging. Number 2, he was doing too much. Like he could have done sprints. If he could have done 20 minutes of sprints, was better than his 2-hour run. And so I feel like that's how most entrepreneurs are. They're like, Tai, I'm like grinding away. I'm working. I'm like, yeah, but number 1, you're working on the wrong thing. You haven't differentiated, like you said. So let's just take a hypothetical. Let's leave some comments here. What business are you in? I can't see the Facebook ones super well because.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So you get a lot of guys that today, you know, they're all looking at social media and, well, you know, this has changed so much and what do I do? What's my strategy with Facebook, Instagram, all this other stuff? Take Tai Lopez.
Okay.
And no social media exists today. There is no Google AdWords. It is 1989.
Okay.
Okay? What is your approach going to be if it's 1989? Is it that dramatic of a different approach as a strategy in 1989 versus today?
No, it's just, the same principles, it's just easier now. So I mean, I would probably, now in 89, you'd still, so it's harder because back in 89, most of your businesses had a huge physical
Harder
component.
89 or harder?
Harder in 1989.
By far, right?
So I would still do the same principles, which I basically like what you say. The reason people build a personal brand is because the one thing you can differentiate for sure is your personal brand. There's zero way somebody else can be you, unless you have an identical twin or your Facebook thinking that I'm somebody else. Here, let's reset Facebook here. So I would do the same thing. I would go into, I would find markets that are competitive, yet I could put one twist to them that all of a sudden it's blue ocean strategy, no competitor.
Even in 89?
Yeah, going to finance.
So here's a follow-up question too with that. I'm here, you are running this thing, everybody's happy, you got a team. How do you know what you need next to hire in your team?
You know, here's the thing I think about hiring talent. Hiring for specific things. So if you just hire and you say, all right, now I need a marketing person. The problem is, it's hard to teach an idiot who says he's good at marketing to actually be good. It's better to hire a maid that's a genius, and then you can go, forget cleaning my house, I'm gonna teach you how to do marketing.
So you let them evolve.
Yeah, talent. Anywhere you meet talent, you should hire them. What's your approach? You got how many agents do you have?
5,100 agents.
So you got 5,100 agents. So you're big scaling, large. What do you look for in people? One of the strategies to grow.
You want to talk operations or sales?
Let's talk about one at a time.
Okay,
so
let's
to get
do operations.
The operations,
Okay.
people in your office.
So first thing I do with operations is when I'm first getting started, I make sure the one area that puts a lot of people out of business is compliance.
Yep.
So I need solid attorney.
Yep.
I need somebody that knows all the laws of whatever industry I'm a part of.
Yep.
The regulation, all that stuff. So I'm protected. These are the boring stuff that nothing is exciting about it, right?
Yep.
So that's step number one.
So you have full-time attorney.
I have full-time 3.
And how many accountants do you have?
We have a team. So we deal with a bigger accounting firm that they have a team for us that they help us out. Yeah. So we just had our audited financials being done for 3 years, and you know how it is when you're going through it. These guys.
One of the most exciting things you can ever do, audited financials. It's so
exciting.
One of the joys
Let me
of
tell
life.
you, yeah, it's euphoric. It's a good word.
I have a friend that makes, I don't know, he probably makes a couple $100 million a year. He lives here in LA, and if you contact him around April 16th. He's grumpy, dude. He's the meanest guy in the world. And I'm like, why? He's like, if you saw the size of the fucking check I just wrote, you would be pissed every year.
He's got to move to Texas, man.
But if you give him a month, no, but some of it's federal tax too. If you give him a month, he forgets about it. But
just for April 16th to May 16th.
He's cutting big checks. So, all right, so you did your audited financials.
So first thing is compliance. I don't want to worry about compliance because if I'm playing offense, I got to play offense. Okay? I got to know what my personality type is. Sometimes a CFO is starting a company, but they don't know how to drive a company and they fail.
So what personality type do you like?
What I like or what I am?
Yeah, what are you? Let's talk about that.
I'm probably an A. A is my first, and then I'm probably going to be in T, and then an R, and then an S. So I'm going to be action, then probably somewhat technical, then relationship, then structure.
So what tests do you like to use?
There's so many of them, but you typically get the same answer. Yeah. So for me, it's simple. I just use the STAR system I learned many, many years ago, and that's worked very effectively for me.
So STAR, explain what that stands for.
So somebody who is, for instance, I talked to me and I asked her, I said, so Tai, when's his birthday? April 11th. 11th or April 11th? Okay. So is he organized? Is he meticulous? Is he detailed? Is he OCD? He's got a little OCD. He's got a little bit this. Okay, great. So, maybe a different personality you have there. A is somebody that's absolutely driven, competitive, a chip. They're drivers. They, if you're around them, you feel like you're going to go do something big because they're always thinking about where they're going to next. But they also get distracted because they're, sometimes they're all over the place, right?
So, most entrepreneurs.
Yes. A's need S's. S is, hey, I have a vision. I'm an A. We're going to go conquer the world. Great. First, we need to build a bridge. The bridge is going to cost us this. Let's talk.
So the S is the engineer?
You need the S's.
What's the S stand for?
Structure. System.
Okay.
Yeah. So then T, analytical.
The thinker.
The thinker.
Yeah.
This may not be a good strategy. We got to be careful. This guy comes after us. And then you got the R, the relationship person that keeps people together. The synergist, right? And so you're going back to the question about what I would do for a team. that's the first part on what I got to not worry about with compliance. Then it's about my funnels, right? So for instance, for me, insurance business comes in, I got to make sure that's being processed as effectively and efficiently as possible. So which one of it can I have a technology drive? Which one of it do I need hands-on?
Yes.
The more technology, the speed's higher, the less hands-on, less human error.
Yep.
You know, it's just more efficient if I have that. But regardless, I still need human touch here. So that system's here, compliance here, licensing here, conversion here. I'm good in this area. Then on social media, marketing, then I start hiring CFOs, director of finance, payroll. You know,
who do you hire for your social media marketing? You have your own internal team that helps you?
I do. So what I do is my approach has been similar to what you just said right now. That's why I asked you, obviously, on social media, you've done a phenomenal job with what you got right now on social media, is I hired Mario, for instance. I brought Mario in. Mm-hmm. Mario came in, I said, Mario, we don't know nothing about social media. Mm-hmm. You got to go figure out what to do. So I told Mario, you got 60 days. I want you to go watch every video, study every book, go through every single thing, come back and tell me what you got. So he comes back and he says, here's what I'm looking at. I said, here's what I want to do with Twitter. This is what I want to look at with Facebook. This is what I want to do with this. And we're going through that part.
What was the biggest kind of breakthrough Mario found for you?
For us, when we started a YouTube channel originally, it was called 2 Minutes with Pat, and not a single video was 2 minutes, except for the last one. They were all 7 minutes. So they said, Pat, we can't do 2 minutes with Pat anymore.
2 minutes with Pat, okay.
It's terrible.
People were getting confused.
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
So finally we said, what do we like to do? We like value, we like entertainment, so why don't we add it together, valuetainment, and then we started valuetainment, I want to say in 2014-15.
Okay.
And at the time we had 3,000 subscribers, 5,000 subscribers, and we made it one keyword, entrepreneur. Today it's 450,000 subs, and it's purely, something we do on the side part-time, right? And we're learning.
Yeah.
We're learning all the time. I mean, this is something where we're amateurs on the social media side. We don't sit there and we say, we're
And how do you take a subject
it.
like insurance, which is not something that most people are like, you know what I want to scroll through on my Instagram feed? You know what I want to watch a YouTube video? The average person, life insurance, financials, that you got a $100 million company. By the way, let me give out, speaking of 100, let me give out $100. You like that segue there, Zach? Yeah, well, that was pretty slick. You brought up the word 100 and I said 100. All right, I'm gonna give $100 to the person who's been listening. Where did Patrick, do you go by Pat or Patrick?
Pat's fine.
Pat. What country was the refugee camp he was in for several years as a child? What country? For $100, I'll PayPal you. See who's paying attention.
Oh, we're seeing a lot of Iran.
No, Iran is where he was born. I'm gonna give all the phones time to catch up. Facebook, for those of you, first Facebook crashed. Somebody said, let's get $100. They forgot to put in the name. London, it's actually not a country, in case you didn't want to know. You didn't know. He probably he went through the LA public school system. He's like, what country are you from? London. It's a great country. It's rather small for a country. Okay, tell me when to stop, Mel.
Stop.
All right, we're on Instagram. Germany. I'll take that. You forgot to say, like Jeopardy, what is Germany? Why did you say Germany twice? Is that a province?
New York City, New York.
Province of Germany. Where are you from? I'm from Germany. It's a small town named Germany inside Germany. Okay, $100, we'll PayPal you. So let's go back to this. I think we've done one or two. We talked about focus. We're talking about reading people. How do you get the agents? You've got your compliance, you got your back end, you got the technology. Now you need salespeople, basically. Agents is another word for salespeople. And a lot of you, the first people you should hire is salespeople.
Yep. So
what personality type is best for sales? Is it the relationship people?
To do what? To develop or to produce? Because it's a different ballgame.
To actually go out and sell people on stuff.
A type is easy.
Just a charismatic.
A is easy. But to develop leaders, I like S's.
The structure
I
people.
fully do. Let me tell you, because they have a system on what they're going to teach you. You know, you look at a Bill Walsh. You probably read Bill Walsh's book. He said Bill Walsh was known for 6 steps to this, 8 steps to this, 12 steps to this. Bill would be an S first, right? Okay. So when there is 6 steps, 8 steps, and you tell me, Pat, here's the 8 steps to blocking. Okay, boom, first step into it. Then you do this. You a big football guy? I'm a sports guy. So you talk sports. I'm a sports guy. So you have steps. So I like S's for developing. I like A's for selling. Right. But you ask me how I develop a strong sales team, testing people constantly.
So do you hire people for short tests? Say, come work for me for a second.
I watch how you respond. Is
that in an interview though, or have you already hired them?
I have interviewed you. I'm already testing.
So if you're interviewing me, let's say what are questions you ask?
How competitive are you?
You know what? I don't care. No, I'm just doing a hypothetical.
You want to role play?
I'm doing like The Office UK. Remember The Office? How's that role play in The Office UK go, Zach?
Yeah, about the complaint upstairs?
Yeah, there's been a complaint upstairs. Okay. So the answer is, real answer, I'm somewhat competitive and sometimes I don't care.
Okay.
It's very spot specific for me.
So you want me to interview you?
Yeah, let's go. So being interviewed. I've got a new job.
What are you doing currently right now?
A lot of live streaming.
No, pick a job. So if I'm interviewing, obviously I'm not going to recruit you right now because you're Tai. So pick a personality.
Let me say it. I'll step back in time when I had a job. I was working at Office. When I was 16, I worked at Office America. So I was working at an office supply store.
So I'm probably not going to work with you because you're too young. So that's step number one.
No, I'm not 16. Let's say I was 25. I'm a manager. I'm 30 and I'm a manager at an office supply.
So why are you working at this place?
Because
Staples. Why are you working at Staples?
I just moved and my mom was sick. I had to move back home. I needed to get a quick job, but I hate it, so I took this job.
So what's next for you?
I want something where I have potential for unlimited income.
And so what's your game plan to get that?
I thought I would go into a sales structure. I talked to my uncle. This is actually a true part of this. Talked to my uncle. My uncle said, when you don't know what to do, you don't have a college degree, either sell cars or sell financial products.
Okay.
So he told me, and here I am.
And here you are.
Here I am.
So knowing that, how important is it for you to start, making some money and getting what you want out of life?
Important. I'm sleeping on a couch in a mobile home. I'm ready to get out.
Pretty committed.
I'm committed.
So you respond pretty well to it if the direction is given to you?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see what you're going to do. Simple as that.
So what would I have to have said that would have made me fail, that you wouldn't take me to past the job interview?
If I am speaking to you and I don't get to a point of motivation for you to want to take action, there's no need for me to work with you.
So when you're hiring somebody...
And by the way, let me explain this to you. It could change 6 months from now.
Yes.
It could change 2 years from now. So it could be a current thing. So I'll have a salesperson that currently right now, I'll give you a perfect example. I had one guy from El Salvador.
Yeah.
When I first brought him on board as an agent, he was a former economist. Phenomenal family. Very respectful family in El Salvador, politics, all this other stuff. He comes on board for the first 3 years. Tai, he does nothing.
Makes no money.
When I tell you nothing, he couldn't sell an insurance policy to his dad. Okay. This guy didn't know how to do anything with the business. He goes back to El Salvador, meets his wife, comes back, high school sweetheart. I meet his wife for the first time. His wife had enough energy to light up a city all by herself, okay? She gets him off, she looks at this and she says, wait a minute, this works. They get to work, they're out of Palmdale, California, right out here. So I told him, I said, listen, I want to move you from Palmdale to Houston. They moved to Houston. They made $30,000 that year in Palmdale, okay?
Yeah.
In a month of December, we're going to pay him roughly $120,000.
Wow.
That's $750.
In 1 month?
In 1 month. In 1 month.
So he needed a wife. Zach, that's my theory on you.
Reason.
Let me tell you why Zach needs a wife. Let me tell you why Zach, not to interrupt you, but Zach, so we go last year to Cleveland finals. You like basketball?
Yes.
Okay, so we're at the finals. We fly all the way there. We had seats. It was cool. We had seats behind LeBron James on the bench, and then we had him behind Golden State. Zach, game's over. We thought it was the last game. Cleveland wins. So we got to fly back to Los Angeles. All of a sudden, Zach texts he's on a train. I'm like, why the hell are you on a train? You know, a train from Cleveland to Los Angeles is a 3-day event. He goes, it was only 55 hours.
What was your reasoning?
You didn't have a sleeper, right? He had to sit upright for 55 hours. The reason was he went to the airport, forgot his ID, didn't know you can tell them. There's other ways they can verify you. He's a redheaded dude. They're going to let you, me and this guy, we look a little ethnic. We get stopped. Zach ain't going to get stopped.
I do have a privilege.
And Zach, but he doesn't know that, doesn't ask anybody, doesn't text anybody, doesn't have a wife. He comes back to LA. He's basically here at the house wearing sunglasses. We go to a movie. He's wearing sunglasses. He goes, I didn't understand that movie very well. I said, because you had sunglasses on. I go, where's sunglasses? I lost them. He's Ubering home from my house. I said, where's your keys? Lost them. The man lost everything known to man. I said, you need a wife. You need to go to Poland or something like that, Zach. Eastern Europe.
Wife in Poland.
No, bring somebody back.
Got it.
No, not mail order. He's going to go there. And no, the reason I say that, you need an organized wife who's an S.
That's opposite from you. Not
No,
for
from him. No,
Yeah.
Zach ain't structure.
I need the yang to my yang.
Wow.
You need the yang to your yin. Is that what you said, Zach?
That sounds dirty a little bit, but it sounds pretty effective. So
Don't ask Zach to elaborate on what that means. Okay, so you've hired people, you've read their personality, you want ambition, it sounds like is the number one thing.
I want fire. I want you to
want
respond.
fire.
I can't do anything with if you don't have fire.
But what about the people, play devil's advocate? I meet people that talk a lot but don't do anything. And then I meet people that seemingly, and then you put them in the job and all of a sudden they're these quiet warriors.
But you don't have to, but you will get a response. So to me, it doesn't matter about personality. I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an idea right now. We have a guy out of Bakersfield. His name is Hector Del Toro, okay? Hector, he comes in, I think for the first year, not a single word comes out of this guy's mouth. Quiet.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything, right? So next thing you know, he starts working. He figures it out. Extremely technical. He wants to sit down and say, why does this person need to buy this life insurance policy? And why is the cost of insurance? He gets so technical that it's like, listen, go talk to these insurance people, figure out the technical part, then come back, let's get to work.
Yeah.
Well, he goes back, he gets convinced.
Yep.
He says, I got it. I believe everybody needs this. You couldn't slow this guy down. He goes out, writes 52 policies in a single month. The month he figured it out. Once his conviction was there, off to the races,
Yeah.
right? So now, what does he do? I think yesterday, Target Premium, Target Premium, so you could commission in a day. Yesterday, I think they did $400,000 in Target
Wow.
Premium. One day. Commission in one day.
Yeah.
$400,000 in one day.
Yeah.
And if he was here right now, let me tell you where he'd be sitting. He probably would be sitting in that corner talking to nobody.
Yeah, he's an
So you
introvert.
are right about that.
Yes.
But
Introverts can be powerful.
Once they believe,
Yes.
you got to get out of their way.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. They're going to get what they want.
Yeah, you can't always tell. Just in general, there's a great book on this called Quiet, The Power of Introverts. A lot of the wealthiest people in the world, most of them are introverts. I'd say the only wealthy extrovert at the top level is probably, Ellison, but Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos is an introvert, Bill Gates is an introvert, Zuckerberg's an introvert. So it's a very but Charlie Munger's an introvert. Ellison, I don't know.
Would you
as
say
much
you're an
about-
introvert?
No, I'm an extrovert. I'm low extrovert, or I'm between. I'm
Low
not quite.
extrovert, only 6.2 million followers, so it's not. I'm not really an extrovert. I'm
No,
just Tai
no.
Lopez,
Well,
low-key
Maya knows,
guy.
but see, I'm behind the camera. You see.
Hey, let me tell you something impressive. So for you, while you're building your brand, you got a lot of good, you got a lot of hate. You got a lot of hate, and you got a lot of good.
Yep.
Let me tell you what I told your cousin today. I think everybody here needs to know this. You can judge a guy a lot by how long their family can work with them. I'm talking to Maya, and I said, Maya, how long have you been working with your cousin? You said 9 years or 7 years? And then his brother is how many years? 7 years?
So my brother at
7 years.
18 still worked for me. It's better when you train people young.
But she went to Tulane in New Orleans, right? So that's, Tulane is Tulane. And she went to Santa Monica Community College, took one corner.
You went to Santa Monica Community College?
In high school. Yes.
So is that a good sign that she's worked with me for a while? Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think if family can work with family, you're doing something right. So I don't know, by the way, I don't know all the details.
Don't
All
ever
I
quit,
know is
Maya, because then he will no longer respect me.
There may be a mafia business this family's running, but...
there's some mob money.
But all I know is...
Maya holds the mob money. People think I'm in the Illuminati.
If someone knows you're like that and they're working with you, doing something right. Because she knows probably stuff about you that nobody else knows about you. And she's still here.
She's still here.
That's
Maya's
impressive.
a Leo. They're loyal. And my brother Ben's a Leo.
August 23rd, right? Yes. August
Leos are
23rd.
loyal. And you're a Libra.
I'm a Libra.
Who here is a Leo or a Libra? I'm gonna shout out a Leo. Leo's like attention the most. Zach right there was like, me.
Zach's a what?
He's a Leo.
Really? Wow. So I hire Libras and I hire...
That's because you're a Libra.
Because I get along with them.
You meet them and you're like, there's something that you remind me of somebody great.
About you.
There's just something about
So
you.
there's
I
2
can't put my
months we
finger on.
hire. All the other 10 months, we don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
But Mario,
What are
when
you?
are you? What's
Mario.
Taurus.
Get along with them, Paul? February.
Aquarius?
Aquarius, they're the easiest people to get along
Or are you
with.
Pisces?
My wife is Aquarius. She's Valentine's Day. My son is born February 1st. Yeah, we get along currently.
Scale
He's
your
5, but-
business by understanding astrology. All you single guys, the best pickup line, I swear to you, if you go to a bar, if you're at a club, now clubs is a little loud. If you could walk up to a girl. No, you don't say what's your sign. That's cheesy. You go up to somebody and you say, if you tell me what day you're born, I'll tell you everything you should do with your life, what career, who you should marry. People will be like, even if they don't believe in astrology, they'll be like, I got to hear what this person's going to say.
You got to do a course on this then.
Yeah.
You got to do a course on.
I got a lot of analytical people who follow me, so if I start talking about astrology too much, it's like wizardry. You know, they're like, what is wrong with this guy?
I just, for me, I pay attention to trends. That's all I pay attention to. I look at people that are born certain day. My dad's April 10th, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't met a single person that's born in April that I haven't gotten along with. It's very easy. So I study trends. Now, obviously, this is not perfection or 100%.
It's not scientific.
But there is something there. There is
something there. All right, let me take a few questions. I saw some interesting one. Somebody said, I'm a Cancer. Thank you. I'm glad that they thank themselves. They're like, I'm a Cancer. Thank me for saying that. Okay. Tai, can we discuss obliterating South Korea? Let's talk about this for a second, a little bit off subject.
Obliterating South Korea or North Korea? You mean North Korea?
Yeah, North Korea. But maybe they're
South.
saying that if North Korea attacks, they're going to obliterate South. Let me just say there's an interesting principle in finance, business, economics. It's called the McDonald's principle. And what it says is that countries that have McDonald's in them never go to war together in history. I don't know if it's always accurate. And the reason is you don't want to shoot somebody who's paying you money. So China hasn't gone to war to America because China runs off the U.S. economy. They borrow money from us. So if China was to obliterate the United States, they've invested all this money in treasury bonds. They wouldn't get their money back. They would stop getting interest. Yeah, trillions. America doesn't bomb China because what would happen with Walmart and all the things that people buy? So the question is, financially, get your opinion on this. Would the world be a better place if North Korea was trading and doing business with other countries? Maybe Kim Jong-un wouldn't be, so crazy. He does buy a lot of Disney things. I've heard he's a big Disney guy. We call him a Disney dictator. He's very tough, but he likes Disney. He has a soft side to himself.
So he's a soft dictator.
He's a soft. That'd be like The Godfather. It's like.
What do you think about what the guy said? Who said, the way you solve the problem is drop a bunch of iPhones in North Korea?
Yeah, with internet connection. Yes. If opening borders, generally people don't hate each other. Like California has less racism. I lived in North Carolina, the South. And part of it is because there ain't nobody white left in Los Angeles. Sorry to break it to you. If you go to the Grove, which is one of the most popular malls in this city, I have some friends that are like from Sweden. I'm like, you're the only blonde hair, blue eyed person in this whole damn thing. And so it's hard to be racist when everybody around
Who's white here? Who is white here?
We got some whiteys.
Who's
Zach.
100% white?
Zach.
He's 100%
Zach's
white.
red-headed.
Paul, you're not even 100%. You're half white, half Mexican. Mario's from Guatemala.
I'm 60% German, so I'm 60% white, but I don't look white. You look Spanish.
I look Spanish.
Do most people think you're Spanish?
They think.
No
I'm
one would
Spanish.
think. I never thought you were Persian. Huh?
Listen, this nose is a Middle Eastern nose. I got to give it. Got to give credit to the nose.
All right, I'm not going there. So my answer to you destroying North Korea, you have a good. We drop iPhones on North Korea, not bombs.
Should America get involved?
Well, if they're shooting missiles like they did the other day and they potentially could have hit New York and LA, you probably, how about this? You study trends, right?
Sure.
If you study history, I'll just ask you this question. Has there ever been a time in history where it worked, it was wise, and that the U.S. intervened in a dictator's regime?
Has it ever worked?
Has it ever been effective? We look in hindsight now. Hindsight's perfect.
Are you talking about the consequences after? Because short term it may work, but you may have some consequences
Adolf Hitler.
coming back.
America jumped in the war, World War II, and helped America, Russia, England, and a coalition took out Adolf Hitler. Was that good?
Yes.
Okay, so there's precedent. Have we ever made a mistake jumping it? What's an example of
Jimmy Carter with Iran with
Iran
the Reza Shah
or
Pahlavi?
Vietnam War was not a wonderful war with probably not great consequences.
It could be Muriel Boatlift. You know what we did with Cuba? Same thing in 1980-81.
Yeah.
You know, when they send, he says, you got to let your prisoners go. And, you know, Cuba sends 125,000 of their prisoners on the Muriel Boatlift to Miami.
That's where Scarface movie came from.
Unemployment is 50%.
Yeah.
Gas stations, half the gas stations shut down in Miami. So it depends. You know,
so is North Korea an example of stopping Hitler, or is it a mistake like going into Iran or Vietnam?
Trends. I mean, but Iran wasn't threatening anybody. You know, Cuba, there was not really a threat in Iran. This guy's threatening people.
Yes. So you sound like you're living down in Texas. I don't even have to ask somebody from Texas what you want to do about Kim Jong-un. They're like, all right, we're going to take the man. We're going to kidnap. We're going to bring him out.
18 months.
18 months is long enough. We're going to tie him to the back of a pickup truck. And we're going to drag him from Houston to the Dallas Mavericks game. Then we're going to display him at the halftime game with the Mavs. And
sell some tickets.
Sell some tickets and build a wall. Okay, let's go on back to business. Okay, business questions. Okay, a lot of people are going to start. Somebody said, haha, damn, you're crazy. Patrick, I'm sending you revenue screenshots. So how do you help? What's advice you give? Forget the business you and I are in.
Okay.
A person, I saw people posting different businesses they're in. What's your advice to somebody watching this who either just has an idea in their head, they would love to do what you did, scale from 0 to 100 million in 7 years, but they'd be happy with 0 to 100 grand or 100 or a million.
Sure.
And they maybe want to sell t-shirts. They want to sell on Amazon. They want to start a social media marketing agency. They want to get in fitness. Like, what's your starter advice? Like the most specific thing. Go to ClickFunnels, make a website, make a YouTube account. Like go raise capital from an angel investor. Like what's your
Do I have any experience, by the way? Do I have zero experience?
Let's say they have nominal.
Like have I sold something?
Let's say they have moderate experience. Not really as an entrepreneur. They've worked at a job.
So am I thinking about going in a business model I've never been in before, or I have been in before?
Let's just say, let's take one of you. What is a business, you guys? Name your experience in the business that you are thinking of. Somebody said, what motivates you guys? What would be the best way to... Oh, it started coming in. I'm a small business owner. Okay, somebody said Shopify. What are you selling? Be specific.
But let's go to that. So
let's say fitness. Mel is here. She wants to monetize her fitness following. She's got followers. She's in good shape. She wants to maybe, charge a recurring fee for fitness advice, weight loss advice. And she's been in the fitness, but she's never sold online.
Right.
She's never built like the brand, like how you're doing it. She's never scaled and built a team to help her. Well, it's like the bare bones. Is it raising capital? Is it reading a book? Is it just jumping in? Is it getting a website, making a YouTube?
Shadow somebody who is very effective.
Okay.
And see what they're doing, and then see a way that you can do it better, and see what's working, and create your own model.
How long would you shadow? Would you shadow for a day, a week, a month, a year?
Here's what I would do. Let me give you an idea on what I would do. I believe in equity. So if I shadow you and I work with you, for instance, I work for a company, and I was with them for 7.5 years. I had no plans of leaving the company. I had one request. I want equity.
Yes, you want some shares in the company.
I want some equity. I want to be able to know that I can earn equity. If I'm automatically going to be able to own some shares and equity in this, I'm fine. Let's build a business together. I don't need to be a solo guy, because it's insanity when you run a company by yourself. So many people think like you start a company by yourself, it's this wonderful, experience that you have. You're better off being with a team. So if I shadow you and I learn from you and I become of value to you, then I'm going to have a conversation with you and saying, hey, Tai, here's what I've done for you. I love what you're doing. I want to be able to earn equity. If not, this is what my plans are.
So you'd shadow somebody like a mentor. Would you call them up? Would you direct message them? Would you show up at their office?
I would show up to their office.
Okay.
I would absolutely show up give you a story here. So in 2006, my insurance license expired. Okay. My assistant told me he renewed it. Every 2 years you got to do the courses.
Yeah.
He says it's renewed. The next day I see it's not renewed. I'm missing $40,000 of commissions.
Wow.
I called the Department of Insurance, California. They work slower than, pond water. They don't even move. They don't do nothing. So I call.
You mean government bureaucratic systems aren't very efficient?
Surprising. It's very, very surprising.
I would have never guessed.
So then I call these guys. I say, I need my license renewed, and I need a favor. Can you guys do that? I said, sir, it's going to take 2 months. So I said, I'm going to fly there tomorrow morning. I'm going to be there in the morning. I'm going to sing for you. I'm going to bring you flowers, and I'm going to bring you coffee. She says, sir, you're not going to do that. A month from now, we'll renew it. We got to let you go. I said, who's the supervisor? A girl named Gladys. I said, can I talk to her? So I said, listen, if you don't renew my license, I'm going to come perform in front of the Department of Insurance tomorrow. I need this license renewed. Sir, you don't need to come. We can't do nothing for you. I take a flight that night. I go to the Department of Insurance in Sacramento. I'm up front. I tell the front desk clerk at the hotel, I said, I need 2 buckets of coffee from Starbucks. I said, I need every...
Wait, they sell coffee in buckets?
Not buckets. What do you call
Want
these
a
things?
bucket?
What do you call it? It's not buckets, but I don't even know what's
You need to go
cardboard,
get
right?
a dairy cow, go to a dairy, get a few milk buckets.
Hey.
Bring that. Can you refill my drink, please?
This is what you say when you took ESL, English as second language.
No, it's okay. I'm not mocking
So
you.
I have
like
these
that.
2
I thought they were really
buckets slash cardboards with coffee. I get every single type of sweets they have. I get 3 dozens of roses. I'm outside and I'm singing while people are coming to work. So I get there at 6 o'clock.
Wait, what song? What Zombie? What's the song Zombie by? What are the by the Cranberries?
I wasn't
That's probably the
singing
worst
Zombie.
song to sing. What was it?
I was getting attention. I'm singing stuff that's just going to get attention. I can tell you what it was.
Persian songs?
That's probably not going to get attention. That'll get me arrested if I start singing Persian songs.
You sing Persian songs in
Can
Houston,
we call the cops right now
Iran.
with this guy?
Zach, that's probably the wrong place to sing those.
So I'm in front of them, and I say, hey, one employee's coming. I said, do you work at the Department of Insurance? Can you go tell Gladys I'm outside? I'm Patrick with David. They go inside. I'm giving everybody coffee, all the ladies roses. Everybody's getting roses. They go inside. She comes out. Says, so what are you doing? I said, Gladys, I told you, please renew my license. Yeah. I need this $47,000 of commission. I said, if you don't renew, I'm going to bring an army here. I'm going to sing. I'm going to entertain. I'm going to get so much attention until you renew it. She says, if I renew it, will you go home? I said, in a heartbeat. She goes inside, comes back, says, I renewed it. I said, I don't see it on the internet. I call my compliance officer. 5 minutes later, renew it. I said, Gladys, thank you so much. I left, came back to LA. What's my point to you here?
Sing.
If
when you don't have money.
Whether you have a voice or not, by the way, because Ty and I were going to do some karaoke tonight.
No,
we'll
lose viewers.
He's a big
viewers.
80s fan. So no, the point is being this. I don't care who it is. I'm going to come sit with you, and I'm going to figure out a way to do it in a smooth operator way, not in a let me sit outside of Ty's house here. And hey, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna come and knock on your window, do this.
We arrest people every once in a while here at my house. It's insane.
Zach
came.
Zach attracts a lot of.
Yeah, they come. It's the women coming for Zach. No, at 2 in the morning, a guy literally rang the gate. This is like 5 days ago. He rings the gate at 2 in the morning. My assistant is here. She goes, Ty can't come to gate. The dude got mad. He goes, I flew here. I flew from across the country. I came, I didn't want to interact, but I was like, let me get your game plan straight. When you don't know somebody, you thought the world's greatest idea is to fly across country, bang on their door at 2 in the morning, and then get mad when they go, they don't want to see you. And I was like, this guy's an automatic fail. I wish we were in Texas. You could shoot a few shots in the air, clear that. You don't even answer your doorbell. You just boom.
You want to know something about Texas?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something funny. So I went to Texas. You know, over here when you buy a gun or something like that, you got to wait your 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is, right? Here's how Texas works. So I go in and I said, I'd like to have one of these when I buy a lot of stuff. And they said, okay, sounds good. Can we have your Social Security? Sure. Boom. Approved. Sounds good. Thank you. I said, okay, I'll come back and pick it up in 2 weeks. No. Why are you going to come back in 2 weeks?
They're like, we've already put it in your pickup
I said,
truck.
what do you mean? It says, we're going to help you. Take it to the car. 5 minutes later, it went in the car. That's Texas for you.
And they
Way
did an
different in
upsell.
California.
They're like, would you like to upsell to this bazooka?
And
We
by
use
the
this
way,
to
every
hunt.
one of them have a sticker on them. You know what it says?
What?
You cannot take them to the state of California.
Really?
Everything is anywhere but the state of California.
No bazookas in
So
the state of
the point
California.
being, if you break into Ty's house, he's got no guns. That's what he's really saying
No, that's
to you.
not true. I take pictures of guns.
You have taken pictures of
That's
those.
in case Kim Jong-un comes and bangs on the door, wants his Disney figurine.
So you said shadow. So shadow would be one. So for me,
shadow,
the point
I like
being,
that.
Go
That's
shadow
shadowing,
somebody.
yeah.
Go shadow somebody and watch them and see what they're doing. You know, there's so much to be learned from. I would much rather have somebody Kobe is at what level he is. He goes to Kimalajan to learn footwork. I mean, what are you talking about?
Yep.
Why am I, after 3 championships, I'm going to shadow somebody?
Yeah.
Why am I coming to Akeem? Akeem's only got 2, I got 3. So you know that whole ego side. Why are you coming to me shadowing? I think shadowing is a very, very useful tool that a lot of people don't.
Underutilized, too.
Oh my gosh, I am a big fan of shadowing.
You better be careful, because I'm going to put his address, his office address. But that's good. You need more
I live
agents.
in Beverly Hills.
No, don't put my address. He's going to do the old reverse-aroo. No, do not do that.
Look for Zach the Man in Beverly Hills. It's a new hashtag. Zach the Man.
Women,
on Instagram.
women flock to Zach.
The Man. ZACK the Man.
Only the cute ladies.
Watch, you get
Zach
78 hashtags today.
Zach wants a
with Zach
picture
the Man.
ahead of time before you should see Zach on Tinder. He's not like one of these dudes who just swipes. I had a friend. He would literally just do stuff and swipe without looking. Zach's not that way. Zach looks very carefully. He's primarily concerned
impressive.
about personality.
Stroke the chin.
Concerned about personality
Extremely
only.
respectful for doing that.
All right, let's move on to how can I start social media marketing? Tai, when I become an entrepreneur, you better interview me. That's a great way. It's a great way to break the ice with people. Yo, you better let me in your house. If you don't interview me, this guy's a persuasion master. When branding, do you brand yourself or do you brand the company? Good question for you.
I think today you got to do both.
Okay. So
I
you
think
branded yourself?
So initially, I only branded the company, and then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here saying, every time somebody says I work with Pat, they don't know who I am in the insurance business.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is, I said, not only am I going to brand me, I'm going to teach everybody to brand themselves.
Yeah.
If you don't do it today, you're going to be left behind today. There's 2 brands you're building, company and you today. Everybody who is doing, now this is not everybody. Some people's personalities are more, I don't want the limelight. You even see it on Hollywood. You know how some of these guys that are big name actors that don't have a Twitter handle?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them behind the scenes, guys like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, some of
they
them
don't
are-
love paparazzi. They don't love
But I
talking.
think in the
Kanye
world of
West,
business-
he likes to punch paparazzi. Sorry.
He likes to do a little bit more than punch paparazzi, but so I would say yes. You got 2 brands you're building today, yourself and your business. It's very, very important to find ways to brand yourself today. Very. What's your reach today? What's your number?
On Facebook,
So on
I
a
think
monthly basis, how many people in the world see, hear, anywhere in the world, see or hear Tai Lopez?
I think it's easier to do by the year, probably 200 million, something
Per
like
year.
that.
So there's
Yeah.
7 billion people living in the world. Here's a math. 7 billion people living in the world. 3% of the world sees this face once per year. Minimum.
Sorry about that, guys. I know it's not the prettiest face, but not all of
He
us.
does look like a
not all of us
professor,
could be
though.
Pat.
He's got this look of a professor from UC Berkeley.
If I take my glasses off, though, that's why I wear the. If I want to be anonymous, if I take my glasses off in public, people don't know who the hell I am. It's awesome. So, do the Clark Kent thing. It's actually real. Show them the Dodgers hat.
Listen,
Now, are you a loyal? You lived in LA at
I
least.
did. I lived in LA 25 years minus my time in the Army, but I lived in LA, yeah.
So you're not an Astros fan.
No, I'm actually a Texas Rangers fan, by the way.
Okay.
But I'm not an Astros fan. No.
For all of you outside the U.S., there's a sport called baseball. It's not really transitioned out of the U.S.
Japan.
Japan
Yes.
and like Cuba.
And by the way, they're saying this guy's coming to U.S. from Japan who's the next Babe Ruth. Did you see that?
No.
The guy hit, did you see this? He hit 340, 30 home runs, and his ERA is 2.5. And he's coming from Japan. They're calling him next Babe Ruth.
Does he look like Babe Ruth?
He
Babe
looks
Ruth was
nothing
kinda a
like
little
Babe
chubby.
Ruth. No, this is a 6'4", good-looking Asian guy.
Okay.
Filipino guy. Not Filipino, Japanese.
6'4"
big
Asian
boy.
guy?
Big boy. I mean, look at the
Have
guy.
has he done his Ancestry.com? Because he may not be 100% Asian. All right, before we get in trouble with the Twitter police on this, someone said then he will eat American McDonald's and be fat. Okay, it's crazy how different Tai looks without glasses. How much of a difference do you have if you use social media? I'm not sure what's the full thing. Okay, how important do you think is choosing a perfect, we're on like tip number 58, but we're given 7, but for scaling a business from 0 to 100, do you think the name's important? Because some people won't build a business until they get the name perfect. What's your opinion? Because you just use your name
Personal brand or your company
for your
brand?
company brand.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. There's a lot of companies that you look at who have terrible names.
IBM.
Terrible names.
Yeah.
But here's what I do believe. Let me say the other part. I do believe there needs to be a story behind it. I do believe there needs to be a story behind it, whatever that story is. But sometimes it changes. You look at Xerox. Everybody knows Xerox as a company. You know who Xerox was before it became Xerox? It was Haloid.
Okay.
So the company's name is Haloid.
That's a bad
Haloid
name.
comes up, terrible name. They come out with a
Sounds like
product.
halitosis.
It's a terrible name.
Stinky.
So their number one selling product becomes Xerox, 80% of products.
Okay.
So everybody starts saying, I bought my product from Xerox.
Xerox.
So Haloid said, you know what? We're not Haloid, we're Xerox. They changed their name. So names are going to evolve, and as long as you have a story behind it, that's what I would say.
So don't get fixated on minor details that may or may not
I actually did a
contribute to
video
revenue.
on YouTube. It's called How to Choose a Logo, How to Choose an Epic Logo. What's the title of it? Something like that, that goes into case studies of different companies' logos. You can see it. If you go on YouTube and type in Valuetainment logo, you should be able to see it.
And I'm going to put tailopez.com/ should we do Valuetainment?
Sure, yeah.
Valuetainment. Can
And by
people
the
spell
way,
it?
we did a course for your accelerator earlier.
Yes, he just did it. All those of you in my paid program, the Entrepreneur Accelerator,
We
he
went
just
into
did an
very-
awesome scaling specific stuff. So if you go to tailopez.com/valuetainment, you'll see links to his stuff, links to get in the Entrepreneur program. Let's do a few more. You okay with
Sure,
a few more minutes? All right.
Mario,
Don't get
call Jen.
too married to a name or idea before you execute. That's true. How do you get a bigger audience? That's a good question. What's your opinion? Growing a business, you've grown it from 0 to 100 million in 7 years. What's the components? Is it just marketing, spending more on marketing to get a bigger audience?
First of all, so how do you get a bigger audience? Nowadays, if you're 36, 24, 36, you can have 4 million followers. Looks is one of them,
Yes.
right? I mean, you got a lot of people on Instagram that have 9 million followers, and they have an incredible body. So,
Has that been your technique? Because that's what Zach did.
Definitely not my
get
technique.
9 million.
I don't have that, but when you look like Brad Pitt, that's a different
Zach,
story.
how did you do it? Zach does shirtless pictures is what really, you should start posting some shirtless
Zach
pictures.
the man. See if the hashtag is there, it's...
I don't want to repeat what hashtag has come up actually.
Really? There's hashtags trending around Zach's body?
No.
All right, let's get that image out of our head. So some people scale by just looking good.
So it's either your look, it's either your voice, because you know how to sing, either you're a comedian, performer, telling jokes, all that other stuff, or you have value. And by the way, the fourth one, believe it or not, is the most difficult one. But the fourth one, for example, a person could have 10,000 followers based on value that could be much different than a person that has 100,000 followers based on looks. Because somebody may just come to look at you, but if I got 10,000 coming to value, it's niche.
Yeah.
It's specific.
You make more money. I see there's fitness people that have like 4 million followers, but they don't have engagement and they can't really monetize them. You need some more water?
Yeah, water.
Take that one.
There you go. I got it, Paul.
So you could do better. I always tell people, get 10, 20,000 followers. You can make a lot more money than somebody with 1 million, because looks, even though they're eye-catching on Instagram, for the most part, I've been around people that have big followings that are good looking. When you walk down the street, people don't necessarily know them because you're just looking at them. It's kind of like porn. Guys look at porn, doesn't mean they care about the porn star. They're just looking at it, right? Whereas if people are following you for a specific reason, take Shark Tank. People know if Mark Cuban walks down the street, people perceive that guy as a multifaceted, multi-dimensional person. So you add dimensions, like you're saying, by being smart, by adding value. I started with just sharing books that I was reading. Also, a lot of people read books.
By the way, indirectly, just so you know, disclaimer, he's not endorsing getting into the porn industry.
No.
He's just saying that if you see that, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to recognize their face elsewhere. It's very important to give disclaimers nowadays.
No comment. Yes. Yeah, I can tell you have compliance lawyers. If we bring that up, yeah. This was not an endorsement of porn. Forks versus knives. He said, you just throttled that water bottle. Were you thirsty? Were you
No,
coming
just-
from a marathon you
I
just
was
ran?
in the military. We used to throttle bottles of other things in the military on a daily basis.
So
but
I
that's-
could have put vodka there, you wouldn't even have noticed.
No, it would have gone. But I would have been telling some interesting jokes and value would have changed.
Value would change.
So if you tricked me in there and got vodka in it, it's about to change here quickly. But I'm not feeling it. So we're
Throttle the
good.
bottle, someone wrote.
Hey,
Bye, Maya.
pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Yes,
Somebody
absolutely.
said, welcome to the world.
I definitely
Someone
will.
said, Ty, will you pay my tuition? I don't mean to judge, but why would you spend money on a degree you could have easily spent? Okay, question for you. You're an entrepreneur. Did you go to college?
I did not. Meaning, did I get a 4-year or a 2-year? No, I don't have one.
So you just went a little bit to college but never finished.
I did. I dropped out and I went straight into sales and business.
What's your advice to the average person going, hey, should I go to college? Let's say they're 18 or they're 30 and they're trying to decide. What's
Solve
your
for
opinion?
X. For me, it's always solve for X.
Okay. What do you
So,
mean by that?
X. What is X for you? So let's sit down and talk. What do you want to do? I want
Let's
to
say
be
somebody wants to start a business.
No need. I even asked, by the way, I asked Mark Cuban this question. Mark Cuban was there and we started talking about college, dropping out. He says, the dumbest thing for you to drop out of college. I said, tell me why. He says, because you need to learn about accounting, economics, finance, all this other stuff. I said, okay, perfect. What if somebody takes those 6 courses
Yes.
out of college and they spend $1,800?
Yeah.
Do I still need a 4-year degree? He goes like this, maybe not.
Yeah.
So you can just take those 6 courses
Yes.
for business.
Yes.
Now, if you want to be an attorney, yes.
Yeah, medical doctor,
Medical,
accountant,
engineer.
you want to be a CPA. But for the most part, first of all, mark my words, our kids and grandkids are going to laugh at how we educate ourselves. They not only will they not educate the way we do it, they will laugh at us. And be, you know how like we look back and we're like, let me get this straight. You know, in the 1950s, a black person couldn't drink out of a water fountain. Like people were stupid. Okay, we kind of laugh or look down on that mentality. We're going to be like, yeah, we would get $150,000 in debt. We'd get a degree in Egyptology. Never been to Egypt. Then we go work at a, we go work as a case manager at a product, some company, nothing to do with Egyptology, and we have $80,000 in debt that we couldn't discharge through bankruptcy, that had interest, that bogged us down $700 a month, and we stressed ourselves out. Do you remember anything you learned? No. So education is going to move online. It's already been proven. There's a good book on this. The Army started doing research in the late 1940s in the U.S. People learn actually 3% better on average online than they do in a classroom, which blew my mind. There's been over 200 scientifically validated.
3% better.
It's just
Why do you think that
marginally
is?
better.
Why do you
It's
think?
because learning in a class has some advantages. You don't know the answer, you ask your teacher. But that assumes you don't have a numbnut teacher, which half the teachers in the American high school system hand out packets and then look down. I just posted a video on my Insta, got like 2 million views already. Not boosted, nothing. I just posted it.
That video went viral. Like
Yeah.
this kid.
Yeah, it's a
faces
kid,
teeth,
and he's just
phenomenal.
yelling. He's just like, why don't you? I like how he talks. He reminds me of one of my brothers. He's like, why don't you just teach the kids, yo? You can't just hand out packets. And the teacher's like this monotone. It's almost like an actress to misrepresent. She's like,
Are you done?
I
Are you
am a
done?
robot. Are you done? Leave my room. And he's like, come on, teach. Anyway, the point being, if you want to learn accounting, I respect Mark Cuban. He sat right here in this chair. We talk. I don't agree on I think some of the college views are outdated that a lot of people have. I do agree that the more you learn, the more you earn. So know yourself. If you learn, I have to say, I do not have a college degree, but I will take college classes. Believe it or not, you can just show up at a college campus. Don't do this without permission. I do sometimes. You just show up and go sit in the class. Professors don't care. They're just like, I just walk in, and sometimes I'll get permission.
Do you take your glasses off? Do you
No.
know
The professors are, I kid you not, a professor gave me permission, okay, through a student that I knew, a friend of mine at UCLA. It was a class on writing. So I go into the class. At the end, I walk up to the professor. He's like this mad scientist professor, and I was like, hey, I really wanted to thank you for letting me sit in the class. This is what he does. He looks up, he goes, puts his hand, mumbles, and walks off. He didn't care. These people are like mad
at a
scientists.
reputable university.
At UCLA, he literally went, he didn't want to talk to me and just walked off. He didn't care if I thanked him. The point being, if you learn well in a classroom, go to a classroom. But test. You can learn online. I got people, hundreds of thousands of people have gone through, you got to reset Instagram. Hundreds of thousands of people have gone through my paid online programs and people spitting out, I guarantee you, I don't know how to do an exact head-to-head because colleges don't release testimonials. I guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee, but my hunch is it's exactly the same or better results that I'm getting with my online courses. And I got people with 1/100th of the cost, with 100% money back guarantee. Sometimes people are like, oh, Tai, you're scamming people by teaching courses. I'm like, why? Because you're too stuck in 1953 and you really think, like, get with the pro. People think Bitcoin's a scam. I'm like, well.
It's the direction we're going. By the way, Milton Friedman was one of the smartest economists of all time, Nobel Prize winner. If you want to study anything with capitalism, just go type in Milton Friedman, Phil Donahue, watch that interview from the 80s or the 90s. You're going to learn more about finance than anything else. In 1999, he said, cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, he used a different phrase, is the future. It's the direction we're going to.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to stop it. I mean,
No.
I have a course, tailopez.com/Bitcoin. Go check it out. I bring in because I'm getting trained by the best guy. I do what you do.
There is a challenge, though. There is a challenge with cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Here's the only concern that I have. The only one that I have, and I'll tell you this.
Let's talk it.
The only concern I have with that is when, like, for instance, how does a company have a monopoly? What helps a company have a monopoly? Think about it. The government. It's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
When the government gets involved, then you have a monopoly. Mm-hmm. Without the government's involvement, there's not a monopoly, right? Because somebody can come in.
Some things have natural monopolies, they say, but yes, in general, I agree.
So if there is currently right now, it's a non-regulated product. It's a so once the regulation gets involved, depending on who's in office, you heard what JP Morgan Chase CEO said, that every day we circulate $7 trillion and there's no way that Bitcoin's going to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They have to say that because that hurts their business model, right? So depending on who is running it at the White House, what contact, who's funding all this other stuff, that is the only thing. However, long term, we're
but the thing about the way Bitcoin works, it's basically manufactured electronically, and there's a limited supply that's constantly dripping out till 2040.
As long as the government doesn't get their hands
on it,
it's going to be fine.
They can't. The technology, if they broke the blockchain, the whole open ledger, it would basically dismantle Bitcoin. So there's always a risk. I don't think they could hijack and control it per se, but Russia did. Russia outlawed cryptocurrency, and then they made their own. God help Russia. We love you, Russia. You have very interesting style. Not Stalin, Putin. Putin has an interesting. I think it'll be hard. Bill Gates said it's going to be too hard to control, because people will make new coins. If Bitcoin got shut down, now there's something. The second biggest is called Ethereum. Then you got Bitcoin Cash.
Where's
and you
that
got
at?
Litecoin.
430, 420.
Yeah, these are all rising, and some drop. And so the main thing, it's going to be like any investment.
It's very
you
volatile.
can make money or lose money. But let me just tell you this, and we'll kind of end with this. If Bitcoin is a bubble and it drops to $1, guess who's going to try to buy all of it? Me. So when all you afraid of a bubble, I'm like, please create the bubble. Please have it drop to $1. I will take all the Bitcoin in the world off everybody's hands for $1. It was at 1 penny. So in some ways, people don't understand. It's like you said, what Pat was saying is important. Learn the fundamentals of money. I became a CFP, Certified Financial Planner. Now I dropped my certification. I don't need it. I used to be in that industry. I didn't get kicked out. I just voluntarily dropped it because I got what I wanted, which I understand the fundamentals of money. And when new trends come up, whether it be Bitcoin or not, Bitcoin is even more egalitarian because it's basically straight supply and demand. There's some manipulation of the market with pump and dump and exchanges and stuff. But in general, the reason Bitcoin is going up because more people are buying it. It has a finite supply. Unlike fiat currencies like the US dollar, where they can print if they want, controlled by governors, the Federal Reserve Board. So in general, when you learn how money works, you will not have the same concerns that people say, what happens if Bitcoin goes down? Well, if you believe in it, you should buy more. And you should pray to God every day that you wake up and Bitcoin is at $1. I'm telling you, I do. You don't have to.
It ain't going to happen.
You can pray that it only goes up, but then if it only goes up, Alan Nation, my second mentor, the smartest person I've ever met. I've met a lot of smart people. He still takes the cake. He always told me, Tai, people don't understand. You make smart people make money in all parts of the capitalistic curve. So you have expansion, peak, contraction, recession, bottom, and then it goes back into extent.
You're talking about dollar cost averaging is what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can make money with dollar cost averaging, or you can time it and wait for the thing. So in 2008, not everybody lost money in real estate. One of my buddies was over here. He's a hedge fund guy out of London. In 2008 was the greatest thing to ever happen to him because he had a whole bunch of investments that they couldn't pay him back, and he got all their real estate. He inherited like shopping malls around the world, but he knew nothing about real estate. He got it when it was low. Now this dude, he'll make $100 million a month. So become sophisticated. Thank you for being here because Pat is a smart guy. He's in the finance business. But for everybody listening, if you read between the lines of what Pat's saying and what I'm trying to say, understand the game. Whether we're talking about North Korea, study history. Whether you're trying to say Bitcoin, whether you're trying to build a personal brand. I loved your thing, one of the highlights of this talk. Remember what Pat said. Shadow smart people. That's what I've been doing in crypto. I've been flying around, jetting around the world, finding the top, crypto billionaires, just having dinner with them, listening. You learn more this is my thing with Mark Cuban. It is great to go to college, but if you could spend 1 year following and shadowing Mark Zuckerberg,
night and day. You can't even.
That's better than anything. You can keep your Harvard degree. Harvard's better than nothing, but if I had a choice, Harvard degree or shadow Bezos for a year, shadow Bezos for a month, take that degree. You know what you do? You could print out a little degree. Your friend got his Harvard degree. Anybody who's ever gone to Harvard, trust me, they're a little arrogant. I dated a girl who went to Harvard. I got to end with this story. Sorry I'm talking a lot, but Libra got me talking. I'm dating this chick. She's valedictorian of like Harvard, okay? I met her I literally met her on Yahoo Personal's dating site. I had a roommate, this guy, Craig. First time when I got money, I moved out of a mobile home that I grew up in most of my teenage years, sleeping on a couch. I got a room. I had enough money. I go in this room, Raleigh, North Carolina. There's these two guys staying. We all had the same birthday. Isn't that weird? We met like on some roommates website.
Wow.
The dude who had a room next to me, this dude has chicks every freaking night. I go, what the hell are you doing, man? He goes, Yahoo Personals. This was when online dating wasn't big yet. Tinder wasn't there. I'm like, I'm gonna try it. So I put a little thing. First girl I meet had no picture. Little did I know, be very careful of that. Girl, I was like, she has no picture. She's probably cute. She's contacted me. She knocked on the door. I kid you not. No offense to her. She had a wart on her nose like a witch in a cartoon.
Is this a Harvard girl?
No. That was the first girl.
You dated.
But I went out with that girl. She took me salsa dancing, and I ended up becoming a professional salsa dancer. So don't always judge people by how they look, because there's opportunities with people that are classically beautiful or not. She took me to a place called Monta Salsa Club.
This is in Carolina?
Yeah, and that's how I got in the nightclub business. Second girl I met is this Harvard chick. Okay, I'm not going to say her name. She still follows me. Smart. She was from the ghetto of Pennsylvania, single mom, rose up, full scholarship to Harvard. I don't know if she was valedictorian of the whole thing, but genius. So I go to visit her one time in DC. Now, what I was saying about Harvard people, no offense to Harvard, my grandma actually went to Yale. I didn't go to college. Her friend is the most annoying person on planet Earth.
This girl from Harvard.
The girl I'm dating, her friend.
Got it. Is she also Harvard or no?
Yes, and boy did she let you know. It was a little bit like The Office, where Andy Bernard's always like, "Did I tell you I went to Cornell? Yeah, I went to Cornell." So this girl, I had read this book called The Wealth of Nations or something. It's by this guy named No, it's not him. It's a Harvard professor named Landis.
Wealth of Nations.
It's why some nations are poor, and it's Landis, Landes. I read this book. I go up there and I'm talking to them. She got a degree in African studies, okay? So we got in a huge argument over colonialism and what had caused problems in Africa.
Yep.
So I say to her, I just read this book and blah, 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 and and I didn't really say it was a theory. I was like, just arguing the point. She goes, "You know nothing." I'm like, what? She flipped out at a dinner in Washington, D.C. "You know nothing." I go, "Why?" She goes, "I went to Harvard. I got my bachelor's in Africa study. Where the hell did you get this stupid theory about Africa?" And I just was so happy. I had this book in my suitcase. I go, hold on a second. I go get it out of my luggage. I go, here, it's this book. She goes, who's this moron? I got a bachelor's degree at Harvard. I flipped to the cover page of where he was a professor, PhD in African studies from Africa. So I was like, suck it, lady. And I walked out the door, and I lost the relationship with the girl because she was like, you were mean to my friend. I was like, your friend's a dumbass. Anyway, it was a great feeling to have that book. And I was like, please say what idiot has this theory. And she did, and I have my book. So I have no idea where, I know we're talking about that. It's better to shadow Mark Cuban
than this Harvard girl.
Than to be like this chick. If you go to Harvard, respect, no hate, but please don't be like my ex's friend. What do you think of that story?
If you're out there and you remember him from the date, please comment on the bottom and let us know and follow hashtag Zach the Man, because he may be interested in you. There's a market for everybody, Zach. We're going to figure this thing out. I think that's where Tai was really going. It's like a curveball. You got to follow the trail on what he's trying to tell us.
And good thing when I went Yahoo Personal with no picture, Zach didn't show up at my door. I'm here for the date. No offense, I'm not big on dating people with beards, but for you, Zach. Not anymore, Zach said. All right. My man, thank you for staying a little longer.
Absolutely. Had a great time.
Best place, if you want to learn more about Patrick, he's got his YouTube channel, Pat. I like Patrick, though. You can go to tailopez.com/valuetainment. We'll redirect you. He's got books. If you want to learn about working for him, because I think a lot more people should get in the insurance and investment business. Finance business is a good business. It's where I first started making 6 figures. Built 7-figure business, and then I moved to California and got out of the business. But it's an awesome business. So you hiring for smart people?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. So same thing, if you go tailopez.com/valuetainment, you'll be able to find me.
Yep.
Message us, we'll figure it out.
My man, thank you so much. Absolutely. I got to do this quick giveaway. Let's do this. So I already gave $100 away. Let's give away the Apple Watch. All right, you hold the watch. We're going to do a question from Pat's business. From his talk about his business. The 4th person I see who answers this gets this Apple Watch. How many salespeople, agents work for Pat? Over, just say a base number, over X amount of people. First person who's been paying attention, or 4th person. No, don't write the word $100. People, America didn't always learn so well. Let's see here. Nope, not 200. Okay, that's the first one I see. The second one I see. 20,000 is incorrect. I don't see one. Not 50,000. All right, the next person I see. Tell me when to stop, Zach.
Stop.
All right, you wait. Tell me when to stop, Zach.
Stop.
All right, we're gonna go to Facebook. There we go. Chris Starr, over 5,000. He put over 5,100, which is even more accurate. So for all of you listening, thanks for being here. Find somebody to shadow. Be careful of dating profiles with no pictures. And
stay away from Harvard girls and...
No, Harvard girls. She was good. Just the friends of the friends. I've broken up with more girls over their friends than actually the girls.
Maybe you should not tell them, don't bring a friend.
Yeah, I tell them. If you have friends, I don't want to be their friend. I ain't dating your friends. It's like you're married, right?
It doesn't work out.
You're married.
Friends sometimes.
Are you married?
I am married. Yeah, I got.
So you got in-laws.
I do.
Do you get along? Are you willing to say?
Oh yeah.
There was a pause and a hesitation.
No, because
but he realized he was live.
First time I met him, I told him a joke, and they broke the ice, and the rest was history.
Oh, so they laughed?
Yes.
Where is your wife Persian?
My wife is from Houston, Texas.
But she could be Persian from.
But she's white, full on white.
Oh.
No, she is. So when I got to tell you the story though. When I got married, at our wedding, so everybody was doubting this because on one side was all the hairy Middle Easterns that were not dancing, and the other side were all the blue-eyed, good-looking people, green eyes, because my wife's got green eyes, and no one was dancing. And everybody's just wagering, saying there's no way this marriage is going to work out. One guy's from Iran, Middle Eastern, hot-headed. This girl's from Texas, sweetheart. This is not going to work out. So one guy that night, I'll say his name is Jeff. That night he was sponsored by, by Jack Daniels that night. I won't say he was sponsored by Jack Daniels.
He was sponsored by Daniels.
He was absolutely gone in a whole different planet. He gets up and he wants to give this speech. And he says, look, I can tell no one's dancing. There's 450 people here, but no one's dancing. You're concerned whether this marriage is going to work out or not. And I'm telling you, I myself am concerned. But finally, I figured out what they have in common. So they have two things in common. Pat's from Iran. She's from Texas. They both like oil and weapons of mass destruction. This thing's going to be perfect.
So
Everybody
that was a
got
joke
up
that
and
broke
danced,
ice.
and the rest was history. So
Did the Persians do a Persian dance?
they danced,
What is,
man.
what's
It was
a
great.
Texan dance? A Texan two-step? What is the Texas two?
I still don't know the moves.
Shooting guns in the air? Like Yosemite Sam? That's the Yosemite Sam
Happens
dance?
all the time. Our neighbors shoot all the time in the air, huh?
Do Persians
Can you
do?
imagine how people visualize people from Texas, right? It's like how we visualized when we first went to Texas.
And Persian, do you do a lot of fireworks? Is that big in
I
Tehran?
can't say it here on camera. What kind of fireworks?
No,
we
no,
do.
I mean literal fireworks. I'm not talking about.
We do fireworks, but when we do fireworks, we kind of have flashbacks and we run. So we don't like a lot of
have
explosive
fire?
noises.
You're like the revolution. What year was the revolution? 60?
79.
79. So if you shoot off fireworks in Tehran,
Yeah.
people have flashbacks to 1979.
I would have flashbacks. I don't know if the new age is going to have flashbacks, but for us, we heard noises, we ran. You know, you sit there and...
In Texas, if gunshots go off, people run towards the gunshots with their
celebrate.
own gun. They go, all right, legally, I can finally legally shoot someone
You
in the
literally
face.
will go to a restaurant and they'll be like, boom, right next to the table. Guns.
Yeah.
It's, it's like, I'm sorry, let me put this, can you please put your gun over here?
Did you see, Zach, that movie? What was that good movie that was out this year about the bank robber in Texas? It was Hell and High Water. Who was in that? Jeff Bridges.
Which one's Hell and
Good
High
movie.
Water?
Go see Hell and High. It's in Texas, right? Yeah. So Hell
it's
and
not
High
a- it's not
Water.
theater.
If it's on Netflix
Got
or
it.
wherever, there's this part where he goes to rob a bank in Texas, and dude, everybody's just pulling out guns and shooting back. An armed nation might be a polite nation, but if you get rid of guns, I was in London. They got rid of guns, and they stab everybody. Like there was insane amount
They
of
have the
stabbings.
highest rate.
The main thing is, unfortunately, bad people figure out a way to kill you. Like in France, I was in France at Cannes Film Festival. We left. The dude mowed down people with a U-Haul truck, killed 50. So you got to outline guns, kitchen knives, trucks. It's not the main thing. I'll end with this. I talk on this and other stuff. You got to fix people's mental problems when they're kids. School's got to be more aware. You can see these kids are wacky when they're 12 and 7. And if you ignore that, you can't just take the guns away. I'm not saying there should be no rules on guns. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a better way, a more efficient way, is to find people who have fucked up family life. One of my best friends, Leon Champion, growing up, the kid had no food. He ate Monday through Friday because he got free meals. And then I went to his house Saturday and Sunday. There was zero food. He would fast Saturday and Sunday. But there's a difference between starving and fasting. Starving is when you have no choice. A kid like that, guess what happened? By the time I was a senior in high school, he was selling coke in school. He had a gun. By the time I came back to North Carolina to visit after I graduated high school, he had been in prison and died in prison. So guess what? For the most part, either poor people who need money or people with mental problems are committing. So you have to fix poverty and you got to work on mental problems. And you can't solve all of them, but I promise you, you can't just take away weapons and expect the world to be a normal place. It works in places like Norway and Sweden because they have healthier families, so there's not as many people likely to shoot. It's not the fact that they just take guns away. Because in London, where you take guns away, people mowing people down on the London Bridge, people stab. It's worse to get stabbed. So I don't know what the solution is, but I know mental problems are at all-time high in the world, man. I like that you read people. Because reading people, there's another test you can do called the Dark Triad test, which is different than your test, which shows you likelihood of mental problems in Hexaco. Actually, one of my favorite guys in the world is flying in, Dr. David Buss. I don't know if I have time to record a live call, but this is maybe the smartest man in the world on psychology issues. He's a professor, former Harvard.
David Buss.
Evolutionary psychologist, genius. Trust me, I meet smart people. This dude's next level. It's like geniuses, and he's genius of genius. He's top 10 most cited psychologist in human history. He's like Freud. I mean, he's not Freud, but he's high up there.
Which is interesting.
Oh yeah, he's my mentor on psychology stuff. And I've learned, if I could learn one thing in life, we talked about scaling businesses, learn to read people. and all its facets, whether to know their personality type, like if their structure, like what you use, this star system, or learning traits of Machiavellianism, neuroticism, all these
Red
things.
flags. There's also red flags you can read. Yeah.
If you met the dude who did, any of these guys who did the mass shootings in any country, or mass killings in the last 1 year or 2 years, they weren't normal. It wasn't some jolly person like, hey, everybody, handing out crisp. It was wacky guys, all of them.
So do you put a background check, mandatory background check on everybody?
We background check for employment.
No. For me to get guns. So do you do background check with me?
So I think
guns? Even Texas does it, but it's 2 minutes.
I think you should do background checks. Why not?
Will you have red flags like no go, this guy cannot have it?
Yeah, or like double check on this person. I mean, in general, I think, not to go long-winded, but for podcasts, by the way, the longer the podcast, the more views we'll get, the listens we'll get. Without a doubt, common sense has become not common. I mean, should you be able to buy a bazooka or a tank? Probably not.
How about an M16?
I'm like, I think the world, it's not the end of the world if you outlaw them, and it's not the end of the world if you keep them.
Their concern is the magazine, though. How big is the
California,
magazine?
I have an AK-47 here, but I have to have a modified clip, so you have to use like a little screwdriver, so you can't shoot that much without. But people can buy two. Yeah.
Pacing.
But the point is, you could sell me an M16 because I'm not going to go shoot a lot of people.
So how do you determine the criteria for that? Remember, I'm in Texas, so yes. I'm not here saying one way or another.
Well, Texas has the most free laws. Does it have the most mass shoot? Does it have the most gun murders? No. I mean, places like Illinois got a lot of
number one.
Chicago
by a mile.
But that's because you have poverty, and you can't. I grew up all around the projects. I didn't live in them, but I lived next door to the projects, and I played basketball, and all my friends were in the projects. People in the projects are going to commit crime because, believe it or not, sometimes they're just literally hungry. They're still hungry. You still got 20 million people go. So you should. The reason I like doing all this entrepreneur stuff, the reason I'm glad you came on here is for each person here, if you can learn to be around better people by shadowing, like what you talked about, and you can get your income up, life gets better, not only for you as an individual, but for your family, for your kids or potential kids, and for society as a whole. Poverty. Look at North Korea. It's poor, man. You couldn't do what North Korea did in the United States. There's too much wealth. If one dictator, you may not like Trump, but he's not Kim Jong-un. Everybody has to wake up at 5 a.m. in North Korea. They assign you your job. Like, as bad as people might think America is, it's not North Korea. So no wonder North Korea is a disaster. You have, centralized economy. Everything's fucked there. And so I think the solution to all this stuff is a lot of common sense. Like, dictator is not common sense. We figured out a long time ago that dictators
I want to tell you
don't go
something.
well.
I think one of the best things that's happened, so I sat down with the Prince of Iran, Prince Reza Shah Pahlavi.
Okay.
So the living son, currently in D.C. We had a meeting with Ted Cruz, and then I met with him. We met at this Italian place. We sat down, we spoke. And we went back to Iran. I said, so tell me what's going on with Iran right now. He says, Iran, for like a 2-year period, they had the #1 female bloggers in the world, the most female bloggers in the world.
Yes.
So what happened with that? I said, what's your point? He says, social media has become the biggest problem to the government in Iran.
Yes, because they can't control it.
They can't control it anymore. So what do? I mean, you go back and you look at the one book, The Book Thief, the movie, The Book Thief, the whole story.
Yeah.
What's the first thing he does? Let's go burn all the books.
Yes.
Because if we can control education, we can the whole movie, The Book of Eli.
Yes.
If you can't read, only me, the man of power, can read, and I don't want to teach you how to read, I can control you. Social media is going to be the great equalizer for governments.
Yes.
And this is
and
why
cryptocurrency going to equalize the financial world, probably.
Dollar's going to take a hit. We went through we went from barter to gold, and then gold to paper, and then paper to crypto. It's just the evolution that is going to take place. But if we can figure out a way to get social media in North Korea, and we can see the videos on what's happening.
Yes.
Forget about my buddy who was a.
Wait, is that WhatsApp? Do you call WhatsApp What's Happening?
No. That's a pretty good app we come out
I
with.
like
What's
that.
happening?
I wonder if I get
What's
sued.
happening?
I've got a new chat app. It's called What's Happening. And
What's happening.nk.
I'm going to make a new app. It's called Flitter. You post 140 characters. We're going to make, what would Facebook? My grandma once called Facebook and MySpace. She called it Face Space. So I thought that was pretty good. She's 99. She's
Facebook
like,
and
"Where's
MySpace
Face?" No, it's my
together.
aunt. She's like, "Where's Face Space?" And I was like, "Do you mean
Wow.
Facebook or MySpace?" She's like, "Dude, my aunt, she died. She died at almost 100 years old. She with social media was the most stereotypical thing. If I would have my phone, she'd be like, back in the day, we didn't have these phones to do these twits. That's what she would call them. You over here, meeting your not. She always made me feel guilty for coming to visit. Oh, it's your 99-year-old aunt. You haven't come seen her. I remember I took care of you when you were a baby. And now you finally make it over to my house. You sit over in their corner doing your twits and stuff like that. She would have, and I would film her and put on my Snapchat, and people thought it was amazing. But
So what are you saying, twits.com?
twits, we could have CapChat. We could have, what else we got here? We got YouTube,
some great ideas
BoobTube. No,
coming up here.
BoobTube probably already exists.
BoobTube's
Tube's owned by Pornhub, probably.
Youku, right? China's Youku.
No, they have WeChat. That's the big one
Yeah,
there.
but their YouTube is Youku. I think it's Youku,
How
right?
about
Is that what it is?
MeChat?
Yeah.
I like MeChat. Fuck WeChat.
MeChat?
MeChat. It sounds very Chinese, how a Chinese person would speak English.
That's
MeChat.
it. You're going to have an army of Chinese people waiting outside for you tonight.
No Chinese people. I don't understand. Yeah,
They're
well,
the
I'll
nicest
be interested
people.
when China breaks down and social media grows. It's already, crypto helps it because people are just using VPNs and coming in and buying cryptocurrency, even though a lot of these things have been outlawed. But it's tough to control people.
There's a big audience in Iran that follows valuetainment based on VPNs.
Yeah. I have a lot of Middle Eastern followers, a ton. It started because I got Lamborghinis and Ferraris. People like
I
fast
think that
cars.
beard kind of helps as well. You know,
I
it's
don't
kind of
look
like,
Middle Eastern.
if
I
look
did
at
my
you a little
DNA
bit-
test. I'm 0% Middle Eastern
Wow.
and 0% Asian.
So no one in your family hooked up with a Middle Eastern?
Nah, man.
That's disappointing.
I would say
Maybe
something.
if you
I
ever
could go with-
decide to get married, you're in a place with a lot of exotic Middle Easterns. Maybe you're going to continue the generation of a guy, you said you're 60% German. What's the other 40%?
I'm like 20% Spanish, Italian. I'm 9%
Combine
Native
that
American. I'm
with a
6%
pretty
black.
Armenian girl, local in Glendale.
Kardashian?
Who knows?
One of the
Take one of
Kardashians?
them, make a baby.
Do they like pasty white men?
Zach wants to know if Kardashians like pasty
Do
white
they
men.
like pasty white men?
Zach, you're gonna marry which
if-
Kardashian would you marry, Zach?
I'll flip a coin.
You said Kate. There is no Kate Kardashian.
Anyone but the ugly one.
Caitlyn? Oh, he said Caitlyn Jenner. That's what the comment was. Past marrying age. Of the daughters, which one would you marry? Zach, say the number. Say the name.
I don't know their names.
Somebody said
Oh, really?
somebody said Courtney is single and she's an Aries. I like Khloe Kardashian, not to date, but because she retweets my videos, so I've made I don't know her, but and I like Tristan Thompson, he's a basketball player.
Are you making any hints here? Like, are you trying?
No, I'm not.
I
I'm
thought
friends.
maybe you were trying to say something here.
Friendship with
and
Chloe.
it's like a message that he wants to make a baby with a Kardashian.
No. That do not go in on record with that. I will be friends with
Tweet
smart
it out.
people. I don't.
You want to be friends with what?
Smart people.
I think they're
the
smart
Kardashians-
marketers.
They're smarter than people
Oh
think.
my gosh, they are geniuses.
People don't give.
What talk about that one company they just started. How much are they selling?
Kylie Cosmetics, about 430 mil.
Unbelievable.
If that's dumb, if the Kardashians dumb, I would like to be way dumber. Like my goal, if Kylie Kardashian, she's the youngest, Kylie Jenner, and
How old is she, by the way?
she's 20 or 21 now, I think. She's a Leo. She's a Leo. Zach wants to marry
Smart.
Kylie because she's the richest. Zach wants a sugar mama.
Is she really the richest now? The youngest.
They ain't nobody else made $430
the
million in
youngest
18
is
months.
the richest. Wow.
The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. All right, guys. TaiLopez.com/valuetainment for more on Pat. And if you want to see my Bitcoin Crypto Academy, learn how to get in the game, TaiLopez.com/Bitcoin. Talk to you soon. Dodgers. Who's winning the World Series next year, Zach? Place your bet on camera now.
Oh, God.
That was not what I was looking for.
That.
Zach says God. He went, oh, God. So God will win.
Are the Dodgers losing anybody?
No.
You're going with Dodgers again. Zach's a bandwagoner. He moved to LA. So he's just picking them. Okay. Talk to you guys soon. Someone
care,
said cool
everybody.
interview. He seemed like a cool dude. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.